Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a book that I never knew about until about 2 or 2.5 months ago, somewhere in there. I went out one weekend to Barnes& Noble with my wife, and I found a bunch of books like Spider-Man Fake Red, Batman Justice Buster Volume 1, which I've just reviewed for the channel too, in case you'd like to check out those. But I found this book as well. It's called Dead Company Volume 1 by Yoshiki Tonagai, and I knew the name. And then it caught my eye because I realized it had the bunny head mascot heads from like your high school and shit on the cover. And I thought, oh my god, there's more. And what I meant by that was, once upon a time when I was in high school, there was a manga series I picked up. As far as I know, it was only 2 volumes. It was really 4, but it was, kind of one of those things where you have 2 200-page volumes put into one big volume omnibus thing. And there were 2 of those. And it was called Doubt. And I remember loving Doubt because I'm a big fan of the Saw franchise. I'm a big horror guy. So that kind of thing really went up my alley. It was the type of thing where you had characters that were kidnapped after playing a game, and they were trapped, and they had to kind of deal with some kind of mysterious situation with that, and a killer on the loose that may be one of them, maybe somebody else. There could be secret passages, there can be games. Think of Virtue's Last Reward, the games. It's kind of like that in the Saw games and whatever. And I really enjoyed it back in the day. It had a couple of twists that I don't know about, It wasn't immensely gory like a Saw film or anything. But I remember liking it a lot. And I remember there was another series that I just picked up called Judge, which when I was looking for it in high school, over 10 years ago, you couldn't get a copy of it. That was like 12 years ago, and you could not find copies in English for a good price. Now I got them used for a pretty decent price, which was not half bad. But then this thing apparently came out, and I guess it's the current either ongoing or it's completely done or something like that, Dead Company, which is, I guess, the 3rd series of this Yoshiki Tonagai stuff, and Yoshiki Tonagai wrote all 3 of these series. Now again, I haven't read Judge. I think it's like 5 or 6 volumes or something like that. But I read Doubt all the way through, at least what I know to be Doubt. Dead Company Volume 1 was something that I immediately jumped into the night that I picked up all these books like this and Spider-Man and Batman, because I wanted to know, what is it going to be like? And it's very much in the vein of the Saw-like movies called Cube, which I think were coming out before Saw anyway. If you've ever seen Cube 3... Cubed, whatever that film would be. That's basically what this movie, or this book, is. Essentially, you have a young man named Ryusuke. Ryusuke? I don't know. Mayuchi, something. Anyway, he survived a Saw game type of thing, kind of like what we saw in Doubt, and I assume in Judge, and that was 3 years previously to now. And he's kind of had a trouble trying to recover from the trauma and the difficulty of that. And now he gets like an interview to go to a video game designer company. And when he's there, he begins to realize there's something up with this place that could be tied into what happened to him. Maybe worse. We're not really sure. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, but let me tell you first and foremost. This book is mostly a setup book. Have you ever read something like Batman Justice Buster Volume 1 that's kind of more concerned about setting up the situation and the concept? And this is a short manga on top of that. It's not like as far as I can tell, I would be willing to bet that it is not a 200-page volume of manga, which is usually what you get with things like My Hero Academia or Dragon Ball Super or Die Dark. This is more in the ballpark of probably maybe 170 pages, something like that. I could be wrong, but that's what it felt like. It's very slim. This book is mostly a setup book of getting you into the concept of this young man, who he is, what he dealt with a little bit. And it's interesting in that regard, but repetitive. If you've seen things like Cube 3 or the Saw movies, you really want to get into the game, get your head into the game, like the old High School Musical song had on Disney Channel. And I bought Volume 2 and 3. I don't remember if there's any more volumes post that. I think it's just 3 volumes. But I'm hoping it picks up a lot more. I will probably read those fairly soon, because I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with this, because I love this kind of story. It is a horror manga, horror comic, whatever, And I don't get to see a whole lot of that anymore, whether it be from Japan or America. It doesn't really matter. You don't see horror comics very often. But I enjoyed this. If you're a big Saw fan, if you're a big Cube fan or Doubt or Judge fan, I'd probably recommend it to you more than anybody else. If you're a typical horror fan, but let's say you're more into thrillers or slashers and stuff, I don't even know. I don't know if I'd recommend this to you. Maybe Doubt, but not so much this. This is not super bloody or gory. It has some interesting ideas about what this character went through in his original game and what he had to do to be the only survivor of that game. And it kind of develops him okay, but not amazingly well. Like, we don't know a ton about him aside from his trauma. And to me, trauma does not define a character. Response does. And I kind of think that there's more that can be done with him. There's more that can be done with this plot, because kind of like Cube 3, if you've seen that movie, he at one point discovers a game going on that he is having to look into from the outside. Maybe try to help somebody, we're not really sure. And I like that. There's a lot you can do with that. But right now in this first volume, there is not a ton done with that. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But Dead Company Volume 1 is not bad at all. I liked it. I thought it was good. Kind of average. Kind of maybe less than average sometimes. But I think there's a lot of potential here for Volume 2 and Volume 3 to be really, really good. So we'll tune into that, and eventually one day I will probably review the Judge series before I ever re-review or reread and then review the Doubt series. So hopefully you tune around. I cannot talk today for that. Hopefully you tune in for that. And let me know what you think about all of these series and Yoshiki Tonagai down in the comments section down below. I'm curious what Yoshiki can do amongst these three series that would vary them enough. I don't know anything about Judge, and Doubt was cool for what it had to be. So anyway, Dead Company Volume 1, what do you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below about everything you think about this little thriller, horror, comic, manga, whatever. Thank you all for watching, guys. Have you read the future volumes? Don't spoil anything for me, but tell me, does it get better? Is it going to get great? I'd love to hear all that down below, too. Does it get disappointing? Don't spoil it, again, but let me know. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.